the media hyping up rumors of possible White House changes. Here's just one example. Time magazine asking who goes, who stays. Uncertainty hangs over Trump's expected White House shakeup.
But as history has shown us, making some cabinet shifts is nothing new for an administration after a midterm election.
Here to weigh in is former Trump campaign manager, author of the upcoming book, Trump's Enemies, How the Deep State is Undermining the Presidency, Corey Lewandowski. Corey, who has a few positions that the president's looking to change. We know right away the Attorney General, it took about 9 seconds for Jeff Sessions to be shown the door. Who do you think is next?
Well, good morning. And I think the president, just like all other presidents after a midterm election, has the opportunity to make some changes going into his reelection effort. And this should be expected. This is nothing new. As you guys just delineated, presidents do this all the time, and the president has the right to have the team around him that he thinks is best going to represent him and move his agenda forward. So I think you're going to see additional changes. You're going to see some people in the cabinet that are going to move on, whether they choose to or he asked them to is one thing. And I think you're going to see some people in the White House who are also going to move on. And I think it's the right thing for the president right now.
Why is that? Is it because after 2 years, it's a very stressful job? I hear he's a workaholic and expects a lot. Is it because it's so stressful and people want to move on, or is it because they clash?
Well, I think it's a number of things. Look, this president is a man who works 18 and 20 hours a day every day and doesn't give anybody a break. And he talked about this in his press conference last week. He said people come into the White House, they look young, and they leave looking old. That's very true. I've seen it, myself. I think I had no gray hair when I started working for the president. And, 20 hours a day for 3 years does that to people. But on top of that, the way some people are treated by the mainstream media, by and large, is very unfair. We've seen that also. But the other portion is, as he gears up for a re-election effort in 2 years, I think he should surround himself with a team that understands what happens during elections. And what we've seen right now is a team that, by and large, has been focused on policy. Right. And with the Democrats taking over the House of Representatives, it is a very different environment in Washington, D.C., and he should surround himself with individuals who know what's at stake coming up in 2 years.
Sure. So he's preparing the White House for working with a divided government where you got Republicans in the Senate and Democrats in the House. Corey, when it comes to people who are going to make the cut and remain at the White House, doesn't a lot of the frustration come from the fact that the president wants to get certain landmark things done? And, here we are 2 years in, and a lot of stuff hasn't been done about certain things. So it's kind of like, okay, I gave you 2 years, time to go.
Well, you're exactly right. And you have to remember what this president said when he came to Washington is he had a giant agenda. He wanted to make sure we're buying health insurance across state lines. He wanted transportation infrastructure spending bill done. We've seen what he's done on the jobs front. He's created 4.5 million jobs in the first 2 years, but there's more to do there. And so, look, if you're not on the president's agenda, it is time to go. But more importantly, with a Speaker Pelosi coming in, it's a very different environment in Washington, and he now has to look and reach across the aisle, work with those Democrats to make sure that he's still creating jobs and an economic environment that is going to continue to move the country forward. And so it's a different environment, and he has a right to have new people there.
Like who? Tell me what positions you think he should rotate out. Just Corey Lewandowski, speaking as someone who knows the inside and the outside.
Well, look, I don't want to get through position by position, but I think you're going to see some cabinet members leave, which is very typical in a transition period. I think you're going to see some senior members of the White House leave. And look, the rumors are rampant right now. Yep. At the end of the day, they're just rumors. But this president is someone who knows the team that he needs around him. We've seen when he wants to act, he acts very quickly, as he did in the case of Attorney General Jeff Sessions. He now has someone there. It looks like, we've seen all the rumors. The Fox News contributor may be considered for the next Secretary of Homeland Security. Holman. We don't know, but what we do know is when this president makes a decision, he acts very quickly, and he's ready for change.
Could you be going back?
Oh, look, I love my job right here. You guys know that. I love being on the outside, and it's the best place to be.
We'll put it this way. The name of your book has enemies in it, the president's enemies. Does the president have enemies on the inside? Because Melania indicated that.
Oh, he absolutely has enemies on the inside. Not only did she indicate that in her interview with Tom Lamas from ABC, but when the president was asked by 60 Minutes, he also indicated that there are people inside the White House that he doesn't trust, and this is a great opportunity for the president to have a restart and get rid of those people who don't support the Trump agenda.
All right. I don't see any gray hair, by the way, Corey.
Well, thank you. You're very kind.
Thank you for being on with us. Have a good one.
You too.